My name is Kay Van Wey, and for more than 40 years, although I hate to admit it, it's been that long, I've represented patients whose lives have been destroyed by preventable medical errors. I also serve as adjunct professor of law at SMU, Dedman School of Law, where I teach the course on law and medicine, which is medical malpractice. Alongside other attorneys, I played a pivotal role in the infamous Dr. Death cases, represented over a dozen of his victims, and assisted the prosecution with landing him life in prison. In addition to representing patients, I spend an inordinate amount of my time advocating for patient safety. Why? Because I'm a patient, and everyone that I love is a patient. One thing everyone in this room has in common, regardless of which side of the aisle we sit on, regardless of whether we are Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal, is that every one of us is a patient, and everyone we love is a patient. So we probably have all ourselves been in the situation where we've had to undergo a medical procedure. And all of you will recall having that situation where, you're naked and afraid, so to speak. You're stripped of all of your worldly belongings. You're in a paper gown, and the only thing that separates you from your fellow human is a little plastic wristband. And then the last thing that happens, you may or may not have been sedated. A nurse comes in with a clipboard and says, sign here, here, initial here, 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 here. This has become a perversion of what the long-standing law on informed consent was intended to be. For decades and centuries, the law has recognized that physicians have an obligation to explain the risks of the procedure so that when patients consent to procedures, they can do so in a truly informed manner. But what these documents have become are legal disclaimer documents. When you list death, for example, as a known risk and complication of every procedure, regardless of whether it's a bunionectomy or a brain surgery, the forms have become so cluttered with all of this information that it has become meaningless to the patient. It's meaningful for the healthcare providers because once they comply with the forms that are prescribed, then they get a legal presumption that they were not negligent in the delivery of informed consent. So patients need a voice. The members of the Texas Medical Disclosure Panel have a conflict of interest in the sense that they benefit, the more disclosures they put in there, the more they're protected. So thank you for your time. Let's do something to give patients a voice.